And now to honor America, please stand and remove your cap for the performance of our national anthem by one of the greatest guitar players the world has ever known.
Curling! The game with the ice, and the rocks, and the sweeping, and the yelling. Each game starts with a handshake and a coin flip to determine who goes first. Then, 2 teams of 4 people take turns throwing 44-pound stones down a sheet of ice. The target? A 12-foot house that looks like a bullseye, just under 150 feet away. Each team throws 8 rocks, and the team closest to the center after all the rocks are thrown will score the points. This process is repeated for 6 to 10 rounds, called ends, until one team is victorious. It's just that simple. Or is it? Each team has a captain called the skip. Like a general on the battlefield, the skip calls the shots that will best ensure victory. Stones are delivered with a predetermined rotation, so they actually curl as they travel down the ice. Of course, this is why the sport is called curling. Over the course of each end, players can throw guards to block the house, draws to try to score, or takeouts to remove the opponent's stones. The skips then spend the rest of the time yelling like a crazy person. What they're actually doing is emphatically advising their players to brush the ice in front of the stone. Brushing can drastically affect the speed and direction of the shot. After each team throws its 8 shots, the team closest to the center of the house will score. Or, if they have more than 1 rock closer than the opposition, they count as well. Once all the ends have been played, whoever has the most points wins. Aside from a few dozen other minor details, that's all there is to it. Find a curling facility near you and get started.
You may never have tried curling before, but once you do, you'll find it's an exciting sport. And today we're speaking with Guy Hemmings, who's the Canadian ambassador for the sport. If you could describe curling to someone who's never heard of it, how would you describe it?
Lots of people used to compare it to like playing chess on ice, and because the game is played on ice, there's lots of strategy involved and also lots of skill because, you need lots of hand and eye coordination. We're going to slide a stone on a piece of ice for 150 feet long, so you need lots of strategy, lots of skill, and also lots of team dynamic, because you work as a team all the time.
Traditionally, curling is not necessarily considered an exciting sport. Now, can you tell me why you would disagree with that?
Well, I think it's changing. I think the rule of curling have changed over the last 15, 20 years. Put the time clock on the game to make it faster. And I think if you look at the TV rating right now over the last 10, 15 years, the rating is getting higher and higher. So the people recognize the excitement about it. All the combination, the angle they could play with a stone, and now they're playing. And the high level, obviously, the curlers are getting better and better every year, like in many other sports. So the percentage of shots is higher, so it makes it way more exciting than it used to be.
Why is good sportsmanship such an important part of the sport?
Traditionally, it's a sport for gentlemen, we used to call it. Both teams shake hands before the game and shake hands after. Most of the time we play the games in clubs without having any umpire on the ice. People respect the rule all the time. We have some rule, and the people respect the rule. If they make a mistake, they'll be the first one to raise their hand and say, I touched the stone, for example, and respect the opponent. Because when the opponent shooting, for example, you stand on the side, a bit like you would do in golf. When one guy is about to drive, you don't stand in front and move and talk. You try to give him the respect, and curling is about the same.
Now, let's talk about some basic terms in the sport.
Basically, there's a shot that we call the draws. The draw where you try to put your stone in a special spot. On the ice, you have two houses, those painted circles that we call the house. To score a point, you got to put your rocks inside those houses. Only the team that's going to be the closest to the center will score. And we play 8 hands or 10 hands according to the championship. The other big family is what we call takeout. Takeout is where you throw a bit harder, sometimes way much harder, and you try to remove some stone, 1 or 2 or 3 stone out in a position that you don't like them to be. Let's say the opponent's got a rock in the center, for example, it'd be tough to score. So it might be a good idea to try to just hit the stone and remove it.
Do you need any special equipment or clothing to curl?
Special pants are special because they need to stretch. You can't do it with tight jeans. You need something that they're going to stretch a bit. Gloves are good, because sometimes they have broom handle get cold a bit. But the biggest equipment part is the shoes. The shoes are really special. In curling shoes, we got 2 types of shoes. We got one that really grip on the ice, we call the gripper. But just before I shoot, I'm going to use this slider. See, the slider here is made of either steel or Teflon, hard plastic. This material is really, really
Canada, our home and native land. True patriot love in all thy sons come.